Hello, welcome back to another of the Saelig series. Today I've decided that we're going to kind of cover something that's uh, kind of been murky. So something that is kind of something about Saelig that doesn't really follow standard gaming mechanics as most of us would think of it. What I mean by that is like if anybody's ever played MMORPGs, you understand that there's an early, a mid, and an end game to the content that you're playing. And there's not really a defined line for sailing for that. So today I figured I'd kind of go over what I consider to be those different stages. And keep in mind that because it is an economy type simulation game, what I'll be referring to is the different business types and what you can achieve with them. So to start with, we'll go over what I consider to be early game. And that is, you're just starting out, you've got a brand new character, you're just starting in the game, maybe it's your first time you've played, not sure what to do, where to go. And this would be where you would start. Essentially what I consider to be the start. And the reason I'm not using a new save to demonstrate this is simply because on this save I've been playing it long enough that I've got a lot of these businesses already that I could demonstrate in real time how they work. Hold on, we gotta get through the church donation process. Come on. It's very loud. Tends to be quite annoying sometimes. Yep, there we go. Should be over in just a minute. I make hella money off the church. Alright, cool. So from an early game point perspective, you've got your house, you've got your 4,000 silver up here. What I consider to be early game would be business types like farms, corrals, mines, woodcutting huts, fishing huts. And the reason I consider those to be kind of early game is because they don't require any ingredients to make product. Excuse me, I got a bad throat. You can literally just start the business and start producing things and sell it straight to the market. No ingredients required. No sourcing ingredients. For instance, farms. I got a farm here. All you got to do is, if you don't have automation on like I do here, you'll have, if you buy up a farm or build one, you'll have your character will be right here where it says crop to sow. You'll pick your crop and then send your character to work, and your character will get to work getting that crop, and then you can sell it directly to the market. Same goes for corrals. I've actually got a corral. See, that's a field corral. Yeah, I've got a corral here. Same with the corral. You can just set what animal you want, what type of product you want. Tell your character to go there and get it. I don't know, animal to raise. Okay. Okay. I totally forgot that I'm actually playing in the new beta. So disclaimer, what I'm seeing here and what you might see might be slightly different. So the animal that's being raised is pig, and they're producing carcasses. And then you can sell those carcasses directly to a market, or you can send them to another business. And same with mines. I've got, as everybody knows, I love mines. Mines are the same way. You can just send your dude there or your chick there to go get the material and sell it directly to the market. Same with the fishing hut. Now I don't have a fishing hut here because there's no water on this map. But the fishing hut is essentially the same thing. You just put your person to work and you sell things and make money. Not a whole lot of money, but for early game, these things work really well. Now most of these I consider early game because they don't require ingredients to make product, but all of these produce product that's also used in mid and end game type businesses. So for instance, see here, the flour mill. Now a flour mill is necessary. I don't own one. Let me see if I can find one. Flour mill. Gotta be one around here somewhere. Flour mill. Oh, it's right here. The flour mill doesn't produce anything on its own without ingredients, such as barley or wheat, which you can make in your farms. So you'll send the barley and the wheat to the flour mill, which will get ground down into, you know, wheat flour, barley flour, which then can be sold to the market. But it can't do anything on its own without that ingredient. So anything that I consider mid-game is a second-tier type of business or operation that requires ingredients from other buildings or from the market. So the flour mill would be one of those. And I would consider the trading post to be one of those as well, because it's useless on its own without you physically putting something into it. And the butcher's another good one. The butcher doesn't do anything unless it has meat, which you can get from your corrals. And I guess technically the leather worker would be considered that too, but I consider the leather worker to be more of an end game type of business, simply because it produces these kind of things like leather armor, backpacks, and coats and things that require ingredients from several different buildings. Like it needs leather, obviously, which you can get from your butcher or from a leather worker using hides, and the hides you can get from your corrals. Let's see, we're cutting these piggies up and we're getting carcasses and hides. You can sell all that directly to the market, or if you have a butcher or a leather worker, you can send the hides over to the butcher and it'll make leather, or to the leather worker to make leather, and the carcasses over to the butcher can make meat and bone charms and all that good jazz, which I need to fix this. So I guess technically the leather worker could be in a mid or late game. The leather worker can be a very profitable business. But the other ones that I consider late game would be the workshop and the ale house. Just because the workshop, again, it's one of those that can't function on its own without giving it ingredients. But I consider it in game because it has so many different functions. You can get these charms, which are great for relationship. You can get axes, swords, all kinds of good stuff that sell for very high prices. In the ale house, I consider that to be in game mainly. Jesus, it's been terrible here, man. My throat is messed up. But the ale house I consider to be in game. It is a profitable business, but honestly, it's not the most profitable business you can make. But it is a very complex business. The ale house, I would argue, is probably the most in-game business you can have, just because of the complexity that goes behind it. Now, on one of my previous streams that I did an actual full ale house build out with all the infrastructure, and that's what you're seeing here. Because for the ale house to operate continuously, you've got to have fruits, you've got to have honey, you've got to have vegetables, you need wheat or barley, you need meat, you need milk, you need eggs, you need all of this stuff to keep the ale house running. I mean, I suppose you could focus on just one thing, but if you wanted to get the full potential out of the ale house, you have to build out a whole infrastructure for it. And I guess technically the same can be said about the bakehouse. And I consider the bakehouse, I guess the bakehouse could be considered technically an in-game type of business, just because of the complexity that goes behind it. Like, to make any of this stuff, you need barley flour and eggs, wheat flour, 2 oats, 1 egg. It's not quite as complex as the ale house is, but there is a lot of infrastructure to build to keep it going continuously. I suppose you could rely on the market, but the markets are they're not super reliable with things like that. Alright, so I appreciate the view. This has been what I consider the early, mid, and end game for Saelig. Keep in mind, a lot of it requires a lot of money to do all this stuff. In-game money, that is, in-game currency. I look forward to seeing you guys in the next video. Like and subscribe. Comment for engagement. And I'll see you guys next time.